From LoungeACADEMY. Welcome to another practice. I got a lot of comments the last time I did this, so I thought I'd try it again. And the whole idea is I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to talk about what's on my mind as I'm doing my 1.5 hour of mindless, aimless piano practicing. And that's, if you've seen it before, you know that that's intentionally, don't play any songs, maybe a couple. You do whatever you want. But the idea is to do a lot of not playing anything and to just do kind of random chord progressions or fall into patterns that you've established, and then you keep growing them every day. And then the stylistic things and the pathways you get under your fingers, and the vocabulary that starts to develop, and the colors, and you know, it builds into a toolbox or an inventory. And it's very natural sounding because when you're, I think it is such, because when you're not trying to play a song, you don't have as much to occupy your mind. You're not distracted and by trying to wedge things into chord structures. It's a lot to concentrate on. So you just play random. I think it uses a different channel, the pathway, to get it there, and it's more you coming out. Like now, I'm not thinking to play that. So it's like the difference between acting or giving a memorized speech and just speaking, you know. Just speaking extemporaneously. I don't know if I've ever used that word before, but it's a good place to use it. And you just be playful like this. I've actually never done this before. I'm kind of springing off the keys. I was kind of closing my hands, and that muscle force was helping to spring me off the keys, kind of giving something I was never aware of before. And that's the whole idea behind this. I just happened to find something new while we were talking about it. I mean, it's not like you always have these great discoveries, or even any discoveries, in the first minute or year. No, but every day you do this, you'll have little minor things. You know, and they're not necessarily thrilling, but they're kind of noteworthy in your mind. And even if you don't, they're in there somewhere and they'll resurface again. You know, lots of times you'll do something, you go, darn, I should stop and like do that 10 times so I could remember it. It's like, you know, you could also take the lazy way like I do and figure, you know what, if you did it once and you recognized it and you heard it, it went somewhere. So it's going to wash back up on the shore at some point. You know, it'll come back in its time. Might be months, years, days, who knows? See here, just fell into a 3/4 thing. hour a day, day after day, year after year, in a sense, you'll find yourself doing the same things over and over. The counter argument to that is that improvisation and spontaneity is only like 0.1% of what you're doing. So, there's a very small variation on the theme makes something new. And that's what happens. These things will start to keep growing. I started out very simple, a 2-5-1. I remember 20 years ago, when it first occurred to me to try this. Yes, it was a conscious decision to do this. I kind of made my own lesson plan one day. I named it, I typed it into the computer. I kind of forgot that I had done that, and then I found it years later, and it's like, oh yeah, I kind of did this on purpose. I'm still doing it, and I'm living right up to that list I made. Still working on something kind of new that's been working out as a variation on doing the octaves in the left hand. Conscious of what the two inner voices are doing, and it's okay, because whatever they sound like seems to work. As long as you know what it's going to sound like from having done it a bunch of times, you'll fit it into the context of the music automatically. See how there's some dissonance in there? Some academician would be analyzing. I thought some of them sounded pretty interesting. And the wilder they get, the more interesting they sound. Again, as long as it's within context of what you're doing, or you could adapt what you're doing to make it so after the fact it was in context. Because, as you know, mistakes aren't made until they're not corrected afterwards. By corrected, I mean putting them in context, and one of the ways you do that is to repeat them. So here's the three-finger octave chord without the octave, we'll call it. That's something that's just starting to formulate. I'm letting it do that. It's just a few days old or a week or two old. I started leaving out the pinky. It seems to have formed a new thing that I think is going to be very useful. Practicing is the opportunity to make mistakes, right? And that's not like meant to be like a motivational poster slogan. I said it because I really mean it. If you don't practice, you don't slip into these ideas. The mistakes are ideas. Better ideas than I could ever think of trying. If I ever get so clean that I stop making mistakes, I'm going to stop being creative, or at least be less creative than I am. I don't want to say I'm creative. the wrong note correct by changing the context afterwards. And I repeated the theme of that wrong note. It became a melodic idea. Sounds like a cartoon. Kinda like that. It's fun. Playing some scale that uses a lot of black notes, instead of playing the white ones, just drag your thumb across it. It's like skating. Actually used to do stuff like that is Art Tatum. Some of those runs he'd do, he'd drag his thumb across and just be a glissando on the white keys. It's a neat trick. And he studied to be a concert pianist. Trick you weren't there, I'll bet. Maybe I'm wrong, you can correct me. It just doesn't seem a technique I've ever seen in classical literature. In my limited exposure to it. Stronger doing that. I never tried it before. idea for me, one of the things I'm always conscious of is muscle tension. Even if like today, I'm doing pretty good with muscle tension, but I'm always thinking about it because you have to be ever vigilant. Beating up on the key of F here. Should we try G? Not as many standards are written in G as in F. But a lot of them are. I'll remember April. I learned the song. I haven't played it in a long time, but when I did play it, it was a bunch of years ago when my time was really terrible. You know, not just my time, but my counting and everything, you know. So that's the problem is, you know, when you don't, I mean, this sounds really weird, but, you know, if you're growing and expanding and learning, you know, like I am, and you are too, or you wouldn't be watching this stuff. Don't learn your songs too well. You know what I mean? You know, you don't know what I mean because it sounds like that doesn't make any sense. But think about it. Would you want your understanding of songs to be like deeply drilled into you by like an 8-year-old? No, right? You want, I mean, we don't want, we're going to be better than we are now, right? So the problem is, you really work out a tune and an arrangement. And if it's all about the arrangement, that arrangement's going to stay stagnant because you've drilled it in so deeply that you go back to that song 5 years later and now it sounds like junk because that's how you sounded 5 years before. It's kind of hard to break out of it if you learn it too well. You want to try to consciously try to play all your repertoire the way you're playing now, assuming you're at your peak that you're generally at your peak because you're steadily growing. That's another nice thing about reason why I do this pointless, this mindless practicing as part of my practicing every day. Because these things, these movements from chord to different chords and these things that get under your, these resolutions, these 5-1, 2-5-1, 6-2-5-1, substituted 6-2-5-1s, they get under your fingers, not only under your fingers, but they get into your head, you know, to where It's not how you think. You know, it becomes your vocabulary, your language. So you want to take that and put it into your, whatever you're playing. You know, especially if you're playing out of a fake book or something. Or even if it's a song you've committed to memory as far as the structure of the song, and you've got the chords like really well internalized. That's good to internalize. But I wouldn't over-internalize the arrangement. I like the song to be like a hollow mold, right? You know, like a plaster Paris mold. And then the plaster, the material you pour in, is the best of you, right? You pour your sound into it. The you that you are that day, or that month or year, in your development. Find a song here, and I'm going to try to not play an arrangement because I just kind of got into the habit of doing that, which you do, of course, but you want to try to like not be locked into that. Okay, here's one. I don't play this a lot. So I don't knowingly have an arrangement for this. Recognize that it's called order, just one of those things. So the idea is, and of course the fake book, if you're not totally familiar with this, know what I'm talking about. It's what everyone uses. This isn't the fake book, this is one I like. That's a little better suited to the stuff I do, but it's kind of arranged the same way, and then it just gives you the note, gives you the key. You're kind of stuck with the key unless you transpose it. They tend to be in male keys. These books are definitely male-centric, which is good if you're a male, because of the key ranges, and for vocalizing. If you're just playing the piano, it doesn't matter, but they're great to sing and play out of. And they just give you the melody and the chords. They tell you, they just write it in there: F major 7, F13, G minor 7, C7, 9, flat 9. They just tell you that above the note. So they give you the note, the chord, and the lyrics. That's all you get. So that was, I just played the first note of it is an A, natural, it's this, and it says D minor 6. So, you know, right, D minor 6. So it'd be like that in its purest sense, but you know, you don't do that because you gotta make an arrangement. So the arrangement's made out of the stuff we've been harvesting, if that's the right word. We're kind of doing more than harvesting it. We're creating the place where it comes from just by noodling around like that for a half hour every day. So I can do this. There's an A minor 6 that I've used while noodling around. I don't know, I guess. those nights, just one of those fabulous flights to the moon, gossamer wings. It was just one of those things. So all that stuff I'm playing is from doing randomness for a half hour a day. And the more you do that, you have more to draw on, so you go to it. And that's instead of like in the old days, I would have been thinking, I remember being in school and I was still clueless, but even though I had a tremendous academic understanding of harmonic theory and everything, because I loved studying it. But I write out all the arrangements, and you're saying you're really composing instead of, and then you play it, people think you're being spontaneous, but it's not. It's all worked out, every note pretty much, and it's yours because you composed the arrangement. Fabulous flights, trip to the moon on gossamer wings. It was just one of those things. Where am I? Sometimes you get lost. That's where it really comes in handy. Go into a progression, don't know what you're doing. Now and then at LoungeACADEMY, it was great fun. On account it was just one of those things. It was just one of these things. Can freely weave in and out of songs. You ever hear somebody and they're kind of playful and they're playing a song, and then all of a sudden you don't know what they're playing, and then all of a sudden they're playing a different song, but maybe it's in the same key and it's kind of similar. Maybe they're comparing it to it. Then all of a sudden, before you know it, like the tempo hasn't changed or anything. You don't even realize it's happening. And now they're back at that first song again, and then they're just winging it, or you're not sure, or if it's another song. Because they're just playing. The song is incidental. Once you can play, you should be able to play nothing. And then when a song gets in your way, you just keep walking right through it. With the same old dirty boots. it means I'm free. That's how you get the discoveries. You might not want to be that free when you're performing. Because people may not understand. They'll think you've been drinking. That's why the lady is a tramp. I don't like crap games with Baron and Earls. She won't go to Harlem in her minute boils. So you just be free with it. You're just practicing. You can only hope you'll be that free when it counts. Faster than we do. Because they're playing. Pretending is the best way to learn. That's the secret to learning, pretending. Write that down and don't tell anybody, but it's a very valuable secret. Pretend you're doing it while you're doing it. Can you do that? Can you simultaneously? Think about it. If you can pretend you're doing something, and then you can go over and you can actually do something, why cannot you continue to pretend you're doing it while you're doing it? Think about that for a while. So I'm pretending I'm doing this well, and I'm not. But that's okay. It'll turn into well. See, this is the opposite of what we learn in school. They tell us, do not play sloppy. Go back because you're programming yourself to play sloppy. Well, that's true, because if you're using kind of a traditional academic approach to things, that's the only choice you're going to have is what you're memorizing your fingers to do, you know, muscle memory. That's not what we're doing, though, is it? We're learning to really communicate this way. That takes looseness to do that. I never could do that before. Since I got my muscles freed up from tension after 20 years, it's opening all these new doors. I'm just trying things as you're watching. First time I've ever tried to do those things quite like that. It just was not an option before. It's nice. You can just learn to like throw your hands and by their own weight and momentum will hit things. You can't do that if you're like, right? Most players have tension problems. Don't think it's just you. You know, it's learning muscle control. And then there's also external factors that you could have an issue with. Like I did, I had a chiropractic issue that I addressed and eventually got it under control. But you can't blame that because entirely because most people do have. If you ask people, piano students, pianists, professionals, do they ever have muscle tension? Then they're aware of it. If they don't have it, they're aware of it, and that's why they don't have it. You know, it's something you. Help me get through my half hour today. See where we are. I'm recording it on my Android device. 39 minutes. Well, it's quick when you're with me. I could have given you some of this camera today too. There's all the cams. It's even got the security cam. Was almost a right chord at the end. Good enough though, right? You leave it like that, it sounds like you did it on purpose. That's the only time you don't correct you don't necessarily correct a mistake by making it fit into the context of what comes later. Although nothing comes later, so that's a context right there. So I guess it works, even then, without playing a note afterwards. So there you go. There's 2 in a row. There's 2 half-hour mindless practices in a row. You can, if you're so inclined, you can juxtapose those and see. And you'll see most of what I did today, I was doing yesterday. A lot of the little routines. You know, that's how it works. But there was variation on the theme that comes naturally, guided by mistakes and sloppiness. And all of a sudden, I got a whole bunch of new ideas today, more than I usually get. It was a particularly productive session, even though I was talking while I was doing it. Maybe that's why. Bye, everybody. Till next time. Keep making mistakes.